Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 108 and today I want to start off by mentioning something really very awesome. The Mumbo store is now having an absolutely massive sale. For example, these Mumbo cubes right here, they're heavily reduced and also the design has been improved. So instead of having a printed face like this one does, it now has an embroidered face, which is a lot better. I mean, the quality seems absolutely fantastic. And of course, all Mumbo cubes come with the personally signed cards. So if you fancy picking one of those up, now is the time to do it. But of course, we also have all of the hoodies, we've got the t-shirts, we have a few new products as well, and a link to the store can be found down in the description. The one thing I will say is though, is that this sale is going to last for 7 days. 7 days! So if you want to pick up something, you're going to have to do it quite quickly. But anyway, let's put back through onto the Hermitcraft server. So that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? I mean, look how fancy all of that stuff looks. I personally am excited, and I hope you are too. But anyway, the proper plan for today's Hermitcraft episode is to get this thing right here fully up and running. Now, of course, it is sort of up and running. We have got slime spawning. We did a little AFK session in the previous episode for 1.5 hours, and we managed to get like 8 stacks of slime balls, which is completely ridiculous. But it isn't linked up to the storage system, and also it doesn't have any of the decoration up at the top right here, because as you can see, this area, yeah, it's looking really quite ugly. So we're going to be doing some prettying up of this space. We're also going to be doing some redstone bits and pieces and some general improvements around the base that I think you guys are going to quite like. So I'm going to crack on with this, and I'll catch you guys in a little bit. But aside from that, task number 1 of today's episode is death prevention. As you can see, this guy's on 2 hearts. I guess that's from the small AFK session from yesterday. So let's feed him his golden bar. And we should see the randomizer will kick in. We need to give him a diamond next time, which is quite expensive. And his health should begin to go up. Fantastic. We are keeping him alive. Just about. I need a bunch of glass for this thing. Just completely plain and normal glass. And I can't tell if Rendog actually stocks regular glass. Hang on, let's take a look down here. Ah, there we go. Fantastic and fantastic. Yes! I don't know how much it costs, but that is amazing. So here is the official plan of action. What I'm going to do is create a red band just making its way around this entire section right here. And we're actually going to mold it to all of the crazy rock faces and things because I think they look pretty cool. And then for the central area, like this spot right here, we're going to cover all of that in glass. And then we're going to do the same thing above us, and we're basically going to create a new module of the industrial district over here using the same sorts of color schemes. And this level is going to be the AFK platform level as well as the storage system level, and then the level above us is just going to protect us from mobs. That's the plan at this point in time. I hope you guys like the sound of it. Having used pretty much all of the glass that we bought off Ren, we are almost there, just the final few glass blocks to go in this corner right here, and that is pretty much everything complete. And as you can see, we only have about 2 stacks of glass left, which means that we used 12 stacks of glass in the process of creating this thing. But there it is. This is what it looks like. It essentially looks like a big glass platform. That's about it. Obviously, we've got the slime farm down at the bottom there. That looks pretty cool. You can't really see too much of it. Then we have the blown up walls, which I personally really quite like. However, I know that that's going to be a tiny bit Marmite. Some of you guys are going to hate that. But what I want to do is I want to pop up and basically see what this looks like from above, because that's arguably the most important thing. When we're looking at this thing from the drone, it wants to be looking cool. And I would say, I mean, yeah, I'd say that looks pretty good. Obviously, once we get the second layer on top, it will look a lot better, but so far, I would say we've done a pretty decent job there. Over the past couple of days, I've had to place quite a few blocks, and I've used a number of different techniques, this being one of them, and I've just had a thought. I wonder what is the fastest way to place blocks. I might actually have to do some experimenting here at some point. I've just logged in with the second account, and I'm going to be honest, guys, the build looks weird. It looks stupid. I think it's because we have so many, like, squares. My whole base is really, really geometric. Everything is, like, perfectly square and everything like that. Then you have this blob going on here. It looks stupid, doesn't it? That looks really, really silly. I think I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to polish off all of the edges. I'm going to do completely straight lines. and that should end up looking 10 times better, because that is a disgusting mess. In fact, I don't even want to look at it anymore. That's horrible. Everything has been straightened up, and that looks a lot better. That looks really cool now. It actually looks like part of the industrial district, as opposed to being some horrible mess off to one side of it. So now what I've got to do is I have got to go out and buy myself some more glass from Rendog's shop, because that's incredibly important. And then after that, we're going to have to start work on the item elevation and also our sorting system. This is going to be quite close. We've got 25 glass blocks left, and let's just see. We managed to do it with 9 to spare, and oh no! No! Oh, I think... You've got to be joking me. You have actually got to be joking me. I don't have any more glass. Oh. Well, that has me depressed. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to move very swiftly on to doing a tiny bit of terraforming. Now, I know you guys don't particularly like terraforming. I'm going to try my best to do this nice and quickly. So we're not going to be doing any super fancy terraforming like the stuff that we have going on over here, because that takes hours. Instead, we are going to try our best to just basically smooth things out and make sure that this looks natural as opposed to being blown up by TNT. So let's crack on. Stage 1 has been completed. All of the grass is looking good around our zone right here. I have totally forgotten everything that Iskal has told me. So as you can see, we've got long, hard lines like this. I mean, I just seem to be terrible. I might have to get Iskal back onto the channel at some point just to give me a quick refresher lesson, because otherwise things are going to get really very ugly. But now I have to work out how I'm actually going to deal with these two sections right here, where basically the ground has to come up to meet this area. And to be honest with you, I have no idea. All of the terraforming has been completed. The land now travels up to meet the glass, and I would say it looks pretty good. Or at least by my standards, I feel like I've done a half decent job there. It's acceptable, okay? It's definitely acceptable. But I just want to say I do apologise for the slightly slow start to today's episode. That project right there took a lot longer than I was expecting. And now we're going to be moving on to the more exciting stuff, which is the redstone bits and pieces. So I'm over here by our hopper, and as you can see, we have got ourselves a ton of slime balls. This thing has been loaded for around about 3 hours today, I would say, and that means that we've essentially done like a proper AFK session, and they are piling in. I mean, we have 9.5 stacks. These are all coming in from the previous hoppers as well, so it'll be interesting to see how much we actually have. But one thing that I have just realised is that we have a bit of a situation on our hands, in that this hopper right here, it's sort of blocked in by bedrock. We can wind it out to there and sort of wiggle it around until we get to this point. Yes, this is a good area. We've got ourselves a 3x3 space. That's good. That's good. All right, that is what we need, I think. Because all we need to do is we need to navigate that out and basically get it into a dropper so that we can send the items up into an item elevator. And I got very worried just then that we weren't going to be able to do it because, of course, we've got a bunch of bedrock here. That would have been bad. I'm going to grab my redstone resources and hopefully we can create something that works. Now, as far as I remember, this should actually work in Minecraft 1.11. I think it does. Would I be right in saying that that is currently functioning? Yes, that is a super ridiculously simple item elevator right there. I mean, we lost a few items when I placed in the glass blocks, but I think that's just because I was changing things up. That works. Wow, we need to add these everywhere in my base. Now for this next project, I'm going to need nothing short than a gazillion chests. Okay, we are going to need billions of them for all of the hoppers and also, of course, all of the chests to store all of the slime balls. So let's make our way over into the shopping district. I need to pick up, well, some wood, maybe a bit of iron, because I don't think my iron farm's been working, but we'll have to take a closer look on that one. And maybe some redstone supplies as well, but for now, I think I'm just going to dump maybe this many plus this many. That was 10 diamonds, and we're going to take as much wood as we can fit in our inventory, or up to 20. I'd say that's fair. And that is what I like to see. It looks like the iron farms have been working after all. We've got tons of the stuff, and that's just one of them. I think I may have found the perfect location for placing the dropper right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the hopper out like this, and it's going to wind across like this. And then the redstone just goes a little bit like this. So we have the comparator, and then we have the redstone dust right there. And then we take the comparator output through this block. So we take the repeater output through that block right there, and that runs back into the comparator. So that's fine, no issues with bedrock there. We're actually using the bedrock to our advantage. And then with this one, all we have to do is place a block there, and then run a repeater into that piece of bedrock, and then some redstone there. So we've essentially used all of the bedrock inside here to create our redstone circuit. Now that is ingenious. So the hoppers have gone in up at the top right here, and I've just gone past the entire area to make sure that the whole space is filled in. So there's no gaps inside the item elevator. All of the items should travel up through the blocks fine without getting caught up in any cave systems or anything. So now, here comes the moment of truth. What I have got to do is I have got to place in the final bits of redstone to actually activate the redstone clock so that all of our slime starts popping out. And then I have to get to the top as fast as possible to make sure that all of the items are going into the hopper. And if they're not, I have to come back down here to shut off the system to prevent us losing too many slime balls. It sounds pretty stressful, but I think we should probably get started. So I'm going to jump over the cactus, and we're going to place in the comparator, and that is when things will boot into gear. If you place it in the right way round. Except I didn't bring enough ender pearls with me. I missed the shot twice, and now I can't actually get up there. And I'm trying my best to find a fast way to get up to the top, because otherwise all of those slime balls are just going to be going off into the caves. They could be being completely wasted. We're there, we're up on the surface, and we've actually just broken through into the Mumbo Questalot bots. Right, let's quickly check around for any mobs or anything. I don't want anything to break, that would be very bad. Okay, let's quickly run over to our hoppers. Time is a wasting. I really don't fancy losing all of those slime balls, because there's like 10-15 stacks over there. So let's quickly pop over this fence and pop over this fence over here. Good. Alright, Depth Strider 3, kick into action. Let's do this. Come on. Right, okay, there are the hoppers. Now let's see if we have got all of the slime balls. And we do. Good. Okay, so our item elevator is actually working. It's fully functional. And nothing is being lost as far as I can tell. There are still slime balls funneling into this thing, which is pretty insane. So that's positive. I am so glad that we didn't lose anything there, even if it has aged me by like a good couple years. I feel like there is definitely a chance that I'm going over the top with my storage situation right here, but this is how many chests we have for slime balls, and I'm also going to place in trap chests between all of those, which means that we're just going to have a stupid number. We're going to have lots and lots of chests for future slime balls. I have no idea if we're going to fill them, but I don't know, I like big storage systems, don't I? I gotta say, guys, that looks a lot more ridiculous than I was expecting, but I love it. Oh, it takes the mick. That is way too many chests. I mean, obviously, we're never going to fill any of these with slime balls, but it seems so worth it. Oh, my word. I think you'll find we got a lot more slime balls than I was expecting during those couple hours. I mean, we've literally been working on this thing for probably about 4 hours today. I took all of the slime balls out of the storage system before I started, so this is like a fresh start. We already have 9 stacks there. Obviously, we have items filing through. That's a full set of hopper. Like, that's a full batch load. And that one, and that one, and that one. And then we have other blocks coming through that I guess have just dropped into the system. But that is bonkers. So I decided to sit around for a bit just to see how many slime balls we got. And as you can see, we have got 9, 18, 27. Yep, I think that's correct. 28, 28 and a half, and increasing stacks of slime. Now that is mega. And of course, we will do an AFK session later on in the episode overnight to see how much we can get in like 24 hours. I'm sure that'll be really interesting. But for now, we're going to pop off into the industrial district because I want to renovate some of my redstone. This new fandangled item elevator is considerably better than what I currently have going on. So this here is our current redstone situation down at the bottom here, and as you can see, it is horrible. It is a horrible system filled with droppers, redstone, and things like that. So I'm going to remove all of this, get rid of all of this redstone right here, and then we're going to create the new system just traveling up like that. It should be quite a simple switch over, but then again, this is Minecraft and I'm the one that's playing it, so you never really know. Right, this item elevator should now be fully completed, so that should reduce the quantity of dropper noise that we had going on inside the base here, which means that we should be able to run the industrial district more often. However, I seem to remember that there is a slightly different system over on this side. I think there's another item elevator somewhere. Honestly, I can't quite remember. It's been ages since I've worked in this spot. I'm going to do some more searching. I'm going to take a look around for other redstone contraptions, and then if I find one, I will update it to the new design. Here is another super tiny item elevator, I believe. Whoa. This one hasn't been working so well. Okay, well, this is going to be a big improvement then, because it looks like the one from the AFK fish farm has actually been broken and it hasn't been sending up 100% of the items, which means that certain things, for example that Power 3 book, have actually got left behind and stuck inside the droppers. Alright, that's interesting. I'm going to swap out this redstone right here for the new system, and that should transport all the items correctly. The last item elevator that needs working on is this crazy active one that once again has totally broken. Look how many cactus are in there, and it's been constantly redstone clocking like that for probably the past few months. Wow, this is why drop elevators are just terrible. They seriously are terrible in Minecraft. They don't work, they never work properly. No matter what design comes out, no matter who brings out a design for a drop elevator saying, this is the new thing, it works perfectly, it never does. Don't listen. Build the crazy glass elevators, the ones that I'm doing right here, because they work about 1,000,000 times better. And that should be everything. I have now replaced every single item elevator in the industrial district with the slightly different design. That should help to improve lag and also reduce the horrendous ticking noise that comes with the drop elevators. So what that means is I can actually head over here and I can activate the industrial district for the first time in, well, probably months. I don't think this thing's been on in ages. So let's just flick that off, and I think that should turn everything on. And we should begin to see all of the farms kicking back into action, ready for our AFK session. Because as I mentioned earlier on in the episode, obviously we just recently built this insane slime farm that is completely ridiculous. I want to get a rough idea of how ridiculous this farm actually is. Okay, I want to know how good it is. Simple as that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go AFK overnight. We're going to try our best to get as many slime balls as possible. I'm probably going to light up this area before I do that, because otherwise I will get killed. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, I will catch you tomorrow. In a rather heartbreaking turn of events, I have returned back to my PC with this sort of screen right here. By the look of things, either my internet disconnected, or we got kicked from the Hermitcraft server, or something restarted or something. But we are now back on the homepage. So that means that unfortunately our AFK session has been cut just a tiny bit short. I have no idea how long we're on the server or how much we've managed to do, but let's just quickly grab our stuff from this chest right here. And I have to say, I'm still really excited to see just how many slime balls we actually have. Because of course, when we last looked, I think we had, what was it, like 27 stacks? Now that's pretty good already for today's episode. That's not too bad, but it would be nice to have a few more than that. So let's pop out of our little hidey hole here and make our way over to the storage system. But first, I just want to take a look through. There is one other person on the Hermitcraft server, but there aren't any slime falling down there, which isn't necessarily worrying, because of course I understand that there won't be slimes down there the entire time, but it would be nice to see a few extra down there. Anyway, let's do this. Let's finally take a look in the chest for the first time after our first AFK session. It looks like we weren't AFK for very long, guys. Well, that would be... So we were around about here when we left. We have still gained... So that's 9 to get to there. 10, 11, 12, 13 stacks of slime balls during that AFK period. That's nothing to complain about, okay? Seriously, I'm chuffed with that. But I do feel like, you know, with a full, maybe 12-hour AFK session, we could be doing with a little bit more than that. Unfortunately, it looks like we have been kicked from the server just a tiny bit early there, and our AFK session has been cut ever so slightly short. Now, one thing that I just quickly want to mention at the end of today's Hermitcraft episode is I have seen a ton of people complaining at me down in the comment section for A, not using the witch farm over here, but B, for building my slime farm so close to the witch farm, because of course that will affect the rates of the witch farm. But here's the thing, unfortunately, the witch farm isn't currently working. As you can see right here, those skeletons are meant to be shooting flaming arrows across like that, which are going to be knocking the witches into the water, which then pushes them down here, and then they drop down to the bottom. It's meant to be like a super efficient design. It was built by Exumavoid. He spent so long on it. He really did spend an extremely long time on building this. But by the look of things, it's not functioning correctly, and as you can see, the witches just aren't really making their way off the edge. Sadly, they're sort of wandering around on the platforms, not doing a whole lot, and they're not dying, which means that none of the drops actually make their way up to the top, which means that there is no redstone up at the top here, so I can't use the redstone from the witch farm, and also my slime farm isn't ruining the witch farm. But the good news about this location of the slime farm is that Exuma put the hours in and actually lit up all of the caves around here. So all of the caves around the witch farm are completely lit up. There are no dark spots, which means that this thing is super efficient. It means that the slime farm is ridiculously fast. That's how we're getting such good rates so quickly, is because all of the caves are fully lit. So I just thought I'd mention that towards the end of today's Hermitcraft episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.